Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of World 2 of Kaze and the Wild Masks. So we are moving on to the second and I think last ice snow stage of the game. I don't recall any other snow stages other than this, and it's the second one. And I believe this doesn't even have any ice physics either. So the first one had ice physics, and I don't think those physics actually return for the rest of the game. That's insane. Now that I'm thinking about it, looking back on my playthrough of this game. So the major thing about this particular stage is the blizzards. As you see those little arrows on the trees, they tell you in what direction the wind is going to blow for the next blizzard. And it'll continue to blow until such time you, I think, pass by certain checkpoints or something in the level. I don't know. Okay, see, the wind died down again. There's nothing to indicate when the wind's going to die down. It just does. But the arrows indicate when the wind will shift for the next small section of the stage. Okay, this one is deceptively tricky. It doesn't look hard on the surface. The way I like to describe these sorts of challenges, it's like Flappy Bird. You really have to just keep pressing the button over and over, lightly, a lot, just to kind of avoid all the obstacles, but it really plays like Flappy Bird, just tapping. That's all you have to do. It's kind of silly, and it's funny because later in the game they actually do a little homage to Flappy Bird, so we'll get to that when it happens. I don't think it's in World 2 though. Now here we get into the Bramble Blast portion of the stage. So we've already had something similar already with the Thorny Vine stage in World 1, but now this is just harder. It's more of it. So, fun little silly fact of me playing this, I didn't realize until like my 5th, 6th time playing through this bonus stage that you can just drop down with your shoes on this bird and kill things from above, like stomping on it. I didn't think you could do that, so I was making it so much harder for myself to get down to the left or right of that one that was close to the spikes and shoot at him. I was unnecessarily putting myself in danger every time I tried to hit that second enemy. I felt really stupid when I realized, oh, you can just drop down on their heads. I'm dumb. So one thing of note, any stage that has a mask that you can use and get powers from is a stage that has 2 checkpoints. So if you notice, we just passed the checkpoint there, but that's actually the second checkpoint of the stage. The first one was the statue where the mask was. So once you get the mask, the next time you die, before you reach that checkpoint we just passed, you will restart at the mask statue. But if you hit the checkpoint, second one of the stage, the one overall if you think about it, you will then start at that point instead of the statue if you happen to die past that point. But every mask stage has at least 2 checkpoints. So on a casual playthrough, that's nice, because some of the mask stages can be very long. In fact, these are some of the longest stages in the game. And I think the developers knew that, which is why they provided 2 checkpoints for you. So we got a little bit of the gimmick earlier in the Bramble Blast section, but now we have to deal with it full bore. Now we have to avoid all the pumpkins towards the end of the stage. It's not exceptionally hard. It gives you a lot of room to move with between the pumpkins. So, but there's still room for error, and I have made those errors, as you'll see in the outtakes. If you're missing some gems, here's some last minute ones. Don't touch the goal before you get your required 100. So, not as hard as some of the previous levels, but definitely very, very tricky. And I was glad to get that one done too. So, not difficult, but just tedious. Very tedious to get through and restart every single time you mess up. So, the next stage is it the one I'm thinking of? Come on, move. No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. This is the stage. This is the one that broke me. This is the one where I fail, the one and only stage where I completely and totally admit that I have failed my secondary challenge. So, Forgotten Mask. This is the fourth and final mask you get. So, the thing with this mask is it can double jump and it can dive. But no matter what you do, it will always proceed forward. You cannot stop. You cannot turn around. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going straight ahead, man. Full speed ahead. And if you miss something, you're going to have to start over the whole level. Yeah, that was a little risky to jump, to dive down into, but that's the first stage. This one is a little tricky, but as long as you follow the order of the descending tomato flyers, you should be okay. It's the second bonus stage that broke me, and I'll explain that in a minute why it broke me. So, every time I restarted the stage, every time I failed both either the stage or a bonus stage in, because I'm trying to complete my secondary objective, right? It's not required to beat the challenge, but I'd like to do it. Every time I fail, I have to restart the whole stage. I have to redo that first bonus stage. I have to go through this entire stage up to the second bonus stage to find. And if I keep failing that second bonus stage, I have to restart the whole process over again. I spent hours and hours trial running until I felt like I got it right. And even when I finally felt like I was good and I started recording, it's still... I still have so many... Oh... You will see in the outtakes. I have so many. This is one of the worst stages, bonus stages in the game. I honestly don't know why they have it so early. I would imagine this would be a later world bonus stage. But you have to know when properly to double jump and when properly to dive. And you basically have to dive through most of these. It broke me. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to edit out my death in that bonus stage, my failure, and just cut to the first successful run I do, and then continue on from there for the rest of my run. Which, by the way, it was a perfect run after that, but it was just... It was absolutely awful, and you'll see those outtakes. I did not like this, and it broke me completely. Yeah, the rest of the stage is like freaking easy after that. That was really the worst part about it. Now, if I had gone through it and had some more practice, I could probably have done that, but my patience was wearing thin, and I actually had to go to work shortly after this. I had like, oh, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes to do this. And I was like, I don't have time. I have to beat this world and continue on and get to work. Thankfully, Pumpkin Pyre is nowhere near as hard as that last stage. Those stages with the dragon masks, those are more of memorization and failure through memorization. This one is reminiscent of, I think, the burning stage in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, where there's like wind gusts and stuff that you can use, but now you can... I love the fact that you can use your spinning ears, almost like tails from Sonic the Hedgehog, to fly up and everything, and the wind gusts will kind of raise you higher with your helicopter ears. I love that little detail. Okay, I failed at this bonus stage so many times because I didn't realize you can actually gain height from power stomping on these things. I was just trying to manually jump, but you can't control your jump height in the air once you hit one of them. So to control that jump height, you have to slam down, and that'll give you double the height, which then, of course, enables you to get some of those higher reaching gems. I think I failed like 3 or 4 times before having to look up what I was supposed to do for that bonus stage, and then that I was just like, really? That was the solution? Yeah, power stomping those enemies. So don't forget, that's part of your toolkit, that's part of your move repertoire. So you're probably wondering, like, wow, they're really reusing all these flaming pumpkins. That seems kind of interesting that they're reusing these obstacles quite often towards the end of World 2. But there's a reason for that. And we'll get to that in probably a few more minutes. Oh, I had to look up the location of that bonus stage. That, I don't know how anyone was supposed to figure that one out. Even after you pass that and the foreground element moves out of the way, I don't know how much of the bonus stage you'll be able to see. But yeah, this one is a very tricky bonus stage. You have to have precise timing with using your helicopter ears to get around those pumpkins. So it does backtrack us a little bit. Sometimes getting out of bonus stages puts you right next to where you went in, and sometimes it pushes you back because there's really no good spots before or after the bonus stage to drop you off at. Yeah, this part of the stage always makes me pucker a little bit. There's so much going on. You have to have precise dodging through each of them. Whew. I almost thought I would have lost it right there. So not a terribly difficult stage, but very tricky in some spots, especially towards the end. So now that we've gotten all 7 gems, we can hold off on the boss right now, and we can go back to the special stage. This one is a lot better. This one, instead of doing some BS gimmick of like invisible platforms or something, this one tests you on your platforming with enemies, bouncing off of enemies and stuff. Beets and Bounces. Yep, exactly. So I prefer this stage a lot more than the first one. Really not much to say here other than you want to use, whenever you touch a string of enemies as the tiger, you actually will extend your air dash until all the enemies are defeated. That's a very useful ability to know, and they actually use it to great effect. Yep, in this particular special stage. They want you to use it. You kind of have to use it. Oh my gosh. Yep, and you gotta do the power stomp. Oh my goodness, yeah. Fun stage once you get it down pat. Once you've memorized what you have to do, that's actually a really fun stage to try and speed run and dash through. So I enjoyed that. I like how each of these special stages kind of centers or focuses around a central idea or concept. Because I know in the normal stages, the concept is kind of spread out and it takes its time to, you know, embellish itself over the course of the stage. But the special stage is like, nope, this is what you're doing, and you're doing it for the whole stage. Good luck. Buck's Brigade. Now we're facing one of the tomatoes now. So I had one outtake, I believe. So I'm skipping ahead slightly. Yep, that was a hit. And now here's the actual successful run. So like before, it's just easier for pacing and editing and stuff to just show you my outtakes on the bosses right then and there. So the goal here is to avoid enough pumpkins. This is his brigade. You have to avoid his brigade long enough to spot 2 tomato flyers somewhere in the mess of pumpkins. And you got to hit them. And for some reason, hitting them blows up his cheeks, and then he just floats in the foreground. I don't understand the logic there, but like, look at that. He's floating. Now, the green vest ornaments around like 2/3 of his body, impenetrable. You cannot hit him in his soft red area when he, through the grass around him. So you have to hit him straight in his face. So sometimes you have to wait till he finishes spinning his face towards you, and then you fire into his face. So practicing this boss, not difficult, but because of the fact that I do not like the Flappy Bird style of gameplay, it becomes tedious. Because there's no speeding this up. He has a specific pattern for every phase of the battle, and you have to go through the whole pattern before, you know, both tomatoes show up like this at the exact same time and place every single time. So you have to experience the entire brigade over and over again if you keep failing. So, not a terribly difficult boss, but very annoying. Long-winded, you could say. Okay, so most of the tomatoes have been relatively easy to hit, but this one that's coming up in the next phase of the battle, I almost always miss every time, so I have to wait for the second go-around. Yep, I missed it again. And this is also the most chaotic and hectic one of the bunch, too. And he also shows up with his back turned towards you, so you can't get an early hit off, so you kind of have to wait till he's almost to the edge of the screen to get that hit. Oh, man, I actually freaked out there. I thought I got hit. I couldn't tell during the time of the recording if he touched me. And if I just busted that turn, you know, that busted that run. So I had to wait until after this cutscene ended before I could find out if I did a no damage run. I was like, please no damage, please no damage. But yay, we freed all the little animals. They can now return to their homes. And there's that no damage. Oh, I was just like, oh, thank God. Oh, gosh, thank goodness. Freaking out. So, that, I'd have to say, is probably the worst world for 100% no damage. Don't get me wrong, some of the later worlds have some pretty awful stages mixed in there, which are probably worse than some of the ones in World 2. But I will have to say, World 2 has the most consistently difficult stages back to back to back to back throughout the whole world. So World 2 overall is just harder in nature. And I actually went back here because I forgot to showcase my stats at the bottom of the world because I kind of skipped over and went straight, you know, to Toxic Tide, which is our poison world of the game. So look forward to that, everybody. See y'all later, and stay retro. Oh boy, we have a huge smattering of outtakes for you today. This particular stage, not terrible, at least until the second half. The second half is where the majority and bulk of my outtakes happened, primarily because Flappy Bird, y'all, very precise on flapping through all these obstacles. And the blizzard winds don't help in the slightest. And honestly, getting out of this area is a lot more tricky than it looks. I failed multiple times on that. And then the rest of this, of course, was my failures in the bonus stages for this level. Don't know why I did that. Just did. Just fell right into the spike. Stupid mistakes. And I think this is the one where... Nope, I get stuck here because I try and shoot them from the front. It's better to just go down and around and shoot them from behind. Now, a good majority of the outtakes is in the level that broke me. In the level where it's like, you know what? I'm going to do the main stage, no damage, which you saw at the end. It gave me no damage. But if I fail the second bonus stage, I'm going to keep trying the bonus stage until I get it right. And then I'll show that successful right, and then continue with the rest of the edit for the remainder of that run. Because showcasing that I got no damage at the end of the run is just the same as showing, yeah, I did the whole level, no damage. What you see before and after that bonus stage edit is literally that run that I did no damage. And that's me realizing I missed the letter and I had to restart. So the trick to some of these levels is knowing when to dive. So yeah, I had to have a couple outtakes on the first bonus stage for this Dragon Mask level, primarily because I just was doing this bonus stage so often, there was bound to be mistakes. This one I lasted pretty good, much better than the last one. Nope, but I failed at the very end. Now the rest of this, there's a lot of outtakes. Just enjoy my failures. There's so much bad, and just think, during my trial run, I want to say 50 or 60 tries just to get 1 or 2 successful attempts. And I was not confident at all that I would be able to do this when it came time to actually filming my recorded run. And sure enough, I was right. I kept making a lot of mistakes, and here's all these mistakes I was making. I think there was more, but I don't think I had them all recorded. I just got really tired and had to take a break. So the remainder of the outtakes is basically here. I think they're all due to flying problems. Flying with your ears. It's always flying that gets me like the worst outtakes. It's always trying to figure out what I need to do when I'm flying through the stage. Yep, and I did say this particular bonus stage was tricky. And yeah, that was actually the one bonus stage outtake for that level. And the rest of them are in the special stage for World 2. The Beets and Bounces. This was me relearning the level because I had done the trial run of it like 2 days prior. So this is actually after like 2 days of no practice, or, you know, just coming back to the level. So I did pretty good, all things considered, memorizing what I had gone through 2 days prior. But that still didn't relinquish me from a bunch of outtakes to show you guys and for you to enjoy.